Welcome to Business Incubator, where I interview some of the top experts in the industry on the strategies that are relevant right now for your business and life. I'm Kat Halushka, and today I have Linda Cain talking all about successful virtual events. Linda Cain is all about events. Now that we're in the virtual world more than ever, connecting online and creating the space for your clients to meet you is critical to making it through this phase. Serving top thought leaders, coaches, entrepreneurs in the live event space, Linda is able to manage and help serve her clients in connections, what makes events work, how to bring unique experiences, and how to expand now and online. Welcome, Linda.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to see you. It's been a long time.
Yes, and Linda and I, we met at an event that she was actually putting together. So I'm so excited to have her. She's one of the top industry experts that I've met in organizing and hosting events. So today's info is so relevant because I know a lot of you are hosting events or you're speaking at an event. So taking it online has been a challenge for some. So Linda, let's just address it right out of the park. Like, how do we take events online? Because I know some of us just feel like it's nearly impossible to create the same experience.
Oh, well, it's perfect timing. And I just came off of February. I left my house February 20th. I came back March 13th. I had events the last 2 weeks of March. I had 3 events in April and 3 events in May. And when I got home the weekend of the 13th of March, which is only what, like 12, 14 days ago, and hasn't been that long. It feels like eternity. That whole weekend was just spent with phone call after phone call after phone call of, the mandate came down for social distancing. And at first it was nobody could meet for, under 200, over 250 people. But by Monday of that week, it was nope, only groups of 10. And we have a joke here in Los Angeles and Southern California that it's groups of 10 because there are a lot of households that have 10 people living in the household. So, because our cultures are kind of stacked on top of each other. And, but anyway, so when that mandate hit, by Monday afternoon, when that mandate hit, everything was at 0. And for me, when everything I do is live event, 90% of my business is online. Is in person, and only about 10-12% of my business has been online. So for me, it was an immediate, how do I pivot this? How do I serve my clients? Where do we go? What do we do? And how do I stay relevant and also profitable during the course of this time? And so I immediately just started talking with my clients and where are your thoughts and what you're doing and where are you going. And we actually had a client that had a 4-day event, the 20th of March to the 24th. And so they had to go, they had no option. They were not in a position to do any kind of refunds. We were negotiating with the hotel and getting out of the contract. So I was involved in that for them. And at first, the hotels didn't even want to honor their force majeures because they didn't see this as a natural disaster of any kind at that point. It was just like, well, we're still all going to be here, so you need to bring your people. And over the course of that week, as things started to shut down, travel started to be affected and everything, the hotel finally let them out of the contract. In the meantime, we pivoted them. So it can be done, and it can be done really getting creative. You can make such a great experience. Now, nothing beats being live, as you know. It's just never going to be, but we will have live. To me, it's all on pause. Live events are on pause. And when they come back, they will be different. But the opportunity right now to reinvent, to re-engage, to expand, to do some of those things maybe that you wanted to do that you didn't have time for, we have time right now. And so what we did with this live event is we planned out the modules for coaching and for the training, and we interjected 6 more guest speakers. So we called people that we knew were really great. We wanted to have them at the live event, but for whatever reasons, they couldn't work out. Now we had more time, and we weren't concerned about resources, paying the hotel and all of that. So we structured it so it was from 10 to 5. And we started at 10 with opening remarks and teaching and training by the host. Then we had a guest speaker. Then we did more teaching and training and had a second guest speaker. Then we broke for a half-hour lunch. And there was a little 10-minute bio break in between there. Then we went to lunch. Then after lunch, we went into breakout sessions. And we divided people into breakout sessions so they could talk with the 2 morning speakers. And then we had the afternoon speaker. And then after the afternoon speaker spoke, we put our keynote speaker in the afternoon, not in the mornings. So we put them in the afternoon. And then after they spoke, then people that were interested in their topic got to go into a breakout room with them. And people who weren't got to stay in the main room, the virtual room, and it continued training and asking questions to the host on what she had just taught that morning. So it worked out really, really well. So that was like how we did day 1. Day 2 and day 3 were similar. And when the host made their pitch, they made it in the morning of day 3. Since this was a 4-day event, we had to change the pattern around a little bit. But when she made her pitch, then we had a room set aside for her so that people that were interested could go right in and talk to her and ask, how do I really do this? Is it viable in the new marketplace? Can I really benefit from your teaching and training, and how will you help me navigate through the new virtual, being at home? And so that worked out really, really well for her. And then on the last day, and then each day in the afternoon, we closed it out with a networking opportunity. So we ran about 120 people every day. And so what we did is in the last afternoon, we made 4 rooms, and we put 25 people in each room, gave them 15 minutes to share information, do an ask, or give a gift. And then, you could, if you needed something, you asked the group for it. And if you had something to give, you gave it to the group. And then we switched the groups, so all 4 groups got mixed up and they got to meet each other. We did that every day. So by the end of the 4 days, everybody had they had had a conversation and a connection with them, even if it was just like a minute-long conversation. So it worked out really well. It was very engaging. And then we ended it by doing an escape room online.
Online?
It was so fun. It was so fun. One of the members of the association that this is tied to had created this game for his company like long time ago. So he said, "Hey, I've got this escape room online if you want to play it." It was really difficult. It was really hard. Nobody escaped, but we all had a blast. So we divided everybody into 8 different escape rooms. And then everybody got the information. There was a video that was played, and dun, 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 the U.S. is under attack, and we don't know how it's being attacked, and you have to help us find it and find the bad guys. And then there were documents. So there was a police document, a communications document, a biological science document, and so we divided in like, okay, we'll be the communications team. So we're all, reading through this, and there's clues and deciphering and figuring out, it was just like you were in person, but you were reading through documents and watching little mini videos and stuff. It was so much fun. I want to I'm talking with the guy that designed it, and we should do a escape room game night once a month, and just whoever wants to come play and see if we can get out of the room. It was so much fun. And so that was one of the ways that we made it really interactive. People loved it. They had, she had a 6-figure event. She sold how we always at events, you have the lowest number you want to sell, the middle number, which you'll be really happy at, and then they hit it out of the ballpark. So she was in between the two, from her lowest goal to the middle goal. And so it was amazing. And that was very encouraging. And of course she had something that was very timely for people on, restructuring business. So it worked really well. But those are, anything that you do in that live component, you can figure out a way to bring a similar experience or create a new experience with similar with a similarity, so that people can have that same experience. It's the experience that we're looking for in a live event. So if you do a webinar, webinars are great, but it's like a PowerPoint and someone talking, and then they're usually selling into a product. We know we've all done that. We've been doing it for years. But it's more it's the challenge that we have at live events when we live stream live events, how to engage the live streamers so that they feel like they're at the event and they're not just watching a talking head on stage bouncing back and forth. How do you engage that? So for my clients, when we've been doing the live streams, we have people that pop in at the break and ask questions and take Q&A. If there's an exercise, we put them in a room or put them in a group call, so that they can ask their questions and do the exercise together and get the answers that are being done in the room. So I've kind of always thought that way. So I'm loving this because I'm a creative. So then that's where I like the best working with my clients, is taking their personality and pulling creative things in it. It's like one year with Rich German, he's, about the dolphins and surfing and getting out on his paddleboard and everything. So we made a whole evening event. The evening cocktail reception was outdoors in a park, and we bought wave props that look like the ocean and put that behind the outside stage. And we had Hawaiian music playing and the Beach Boy music playing and things like that. And we had surfboards around the outside area. And then we had, the blue Hawaii drink, and, we just, everything that we could think of to create that was like around, we had a dolphin that greeted people and welcomed them to the event, and things like that. And we had it's not here in the office, but I posted on my Facebook the other day because I was in storage and we were moving things around and kind of clearing out stuff. It's like, why not? I have the time. And so I found my cutout of Rich that we had that night, that we had, until he got on stage, we had this cutout of him. So I took a picture of me. I'm like, when you can't be with your clients live, you can have one of these. It was really fun. But so just like in that live setting, how we created that feeling of that we were at the beach, because we, couldn't go to the beach that particular event, but we created that feeling, and we had a blow up screen and bean bags and things for people to sit around in and watch pictures of Rich out on his paddleboard with the dolphins. And it was amazing. It was a lot of fun. So thinking that way of what can you do and how you can bring it live. I've had a client that we just did an event on Thursday and Friday, or Wednesday and Thursday this week. We did a 2-day event. And she does a lot of meditation. She does a lot of yoga stretching and things like that. She still did that, only it was like sit in your chair, and close your eyes. And she put up, a little video with beautiful pictures and music. And for those of you that aren't closing your eyes because you're too afraid, you can watch this while the rest of us are closing our eyes. And so just thinking like that, of things that you can do that are experience, connecting people together is really good. There's a lot of other platforms too, and the easy platform is to use is the Zoom platform, because you can have, if you just have Zoom Pro, you can have 100 people and still do breakouts. But if you pay the $45 extra, then you can have a few more bells and whistles, and you can have a few more breakout rooms. You can leave a breakout room going while something else is going on. And because it's user-friendly, it's a recommended, it records automatically, and there's just things that you can do. So I do recommend that for people, that especially if they're technically challenged, because it's basically, 5 steps and you're there. And you can, easily, and we're helping our clients. We're going into the rooms with them, and just like we're there with you in person on site, we're there with you virtually. So you can stay in your teaching zone lane and your offer lane, and we're fielding questions and answering questions, and moving people to a coach room. If you have that aspect of it, we can move you off to a coach room when it's your turn to have your coaching session. And it's fun, and it's very creative, and I'm having a great time.
And I love it that you just took your whole business that was 90% live, and you switched it just like that, and kicked in your creativity process to make sure that your clients can still have an impactful for them. That's phenomenal. I really want to bring up though the fact that a lot of people right now have events scheduled on the calendar. Do you have an advice for them? Should they cancel them? Should they virtually start them as soon as possible? Like, what are we looking at here?
Okay, so a couple things I really recommend. If you have an event between now and I'm going to say end of June, so that gives you all April, May, and June. So if you have an event now, either April, May, or June, and I'm offering free strategy sessions, so they can click the link down below and get a free strategy session with me on their contracts and on their hotel things. I also will have a 90-day plan of, going virtual. You basically will go virtual right away, but how it plays out over the 90 days is what the 90-day plan is. And then I also have a virtual event mastery program that I'm launching. So I'm launching my very first program. I'm so excited. And but it's about events, and it's also with the end in mind that we'll get back live. So it's, but the components of it can work in this space really, really well. So getting back to your question, yes. So if you have an event, May, June, July, between April, May, and June, feel free to have a conversation with me on what's going to best suit you. But let's say you're in April. So if you're in April, right now we are now till the 19th of April has been the new mandate for staying social distancing. So it's a 90%. You're probably 90 to 99% that your contract, if it has the force majeure, that the hotel has to release you by the law. And so even if you're April 30th, April 24th, 25th, they still have to be able to release you because you have zero marketing time. So I would definitely encourage you, if you're in the April timeframe, to let's get that event mapped out and how we can do it online. And whether you're doing it for 3 days in a row, or if you're going to break it down to 5 mornings or 3 mornings and 2 afternoons, or whatever is going to work for the clients, they should think about how they can take that 3-day. What are the main components that are really important for their audience to hear? Is it important to hear the guest speaker? It might be. Is it important to hear from a couple of the sponsors? It might be. So then you keep your sponsor dollars. Is it important to only have training from you? It might be. So whatever those main components are that you can best serve the community that you built and the attendees that are ready to come and hear you, how are you going to be able to best serve them? Those are the components that you want to keep in the live event, and then add to that. So that may take a 3-day down to 2-day, like what we did last week. Or it may take a 3-day down to just mornings with an afternoon bonus specials, like, put the guest speaker in as a bonus. So think about that and probably go online as quick as you possibly can and go ahead with your event and elements of your event. If you're May and June, wait, don't do anything with your contracts yet. In May, if you have an audience that is a travel audience, it's not so much a community market or people really have to travel, then you also may want to consider doing the same thing for your May events. Looking at a way of bringing those online and engaging now. So don't wait till May, and don't be in the mental state of, okay, I'm going to continue with my marketing and we'll see you either in person or on live. Mm-hmm. Do some on live now so they get used to you. Have an open office on Zoom, or have a special, I'm going to be talking about blah, blah, blah on Thursday for 2 hours. Join me. It's part of the program we're doing in May. Come aboard now. You've got a ticket to May, so you can come aboard now. And be engaging now so that if you do have to do virtual, they already have had a little bit of an experience with you, so they kind of get an anticipation of what it's going to be like. And they're going to be more apt to be there with you and stick through the whole time that you need them to be with you. Send out a really good, how to show up online. I've got a nice little guide on how to show up online, and, how to schedule your kids that are all home, your husband that's home, your spouse that's home, your significant others, your animals, your cats, your dogs, your fish, and how to get yourself ready to spend an entire day with your client. and how they can, really prepare themselves to do that. Because a lot of people, that some of the challenge is, yeah, I have no problem being at home all day. Even for myself, I have no problem being at home all day, but I do have a husband and dogs and a daughter. And so they do tend to forget that I'm just not here working, I'm actually live. And so we've had to like post some, mom's in her office, you know, and so do some things like that. But if you can wait it out, and you can even do that online, like, we're going to be starting our training with the intent that in May we may have to be virtual, and in June as well. But don't do anything with your contracts. Just put the hotel on notice that, hey, just want to let you know we're still, if they're, we're still planning to come. We may have to scale it down some. So we'll be talking to you about that, but we're still planning to come. And so be thinking about what that might look like for us, but don't cancel it. Don't go into really deep, conversations with them, because right now the hotel's positions are, if you can come, you can come. If you're going to cancel, they're going to charge you half a cancellation fee. And if you have to scale down, we want to use that as a power play. So we want to be in the position of like, look, the ban's been lifted. We're coming in May, but because of the ban, our marketing people just couldn't get flights. They had to shift money, blah, 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 blah. So instead of having 100 people, we're only going to have 50 people. So we want to take the other half of our contract and move it to another date. So you reverse engineer it. Instead of having you pay them half for a cancellation and moving it to another date, you wait and buy time so that you can be in a position to say, we're still coming. We want to do half the event now, and we want to book the other half later and move the other half of our contract off later. And that'll save you time, money, and also get you another date on calendar to be able to offer the people that are going to be in the room. And if you're August and beyond, I think it's just going to really depend what happens over the course of the next 60 days. And so for now, just leave those, keep marketing, keep pushing it out. And the really cool thing about us being online is, I've had calls with Germany, Australia, England, Brazil. It's been fabulous, just people reaching out and talking to me. And are you hooked into a community? And what do you do? Oh, I know the speaker community you need to be hooked into, and having, introducing them. And that's one thing that we can all do as we're having these conversations and engaging people, is be thinking about, like when I think of JVIC with Rich, Behrman, and Iman, I always think when I'm having conversations with people, do they fit in that community? And can that community help them now online? And if it's a fit, then I send them over there. Or my client, Steve Olsher with the podcasting. A lot of people, this is a perfect time to start their podcasts. So, if you need coaching in that or help in that, here's somebody that I know personally that will do a really good job for you, and sending them over there. So I think we're going to see a lot of that, a lot more collaboration and connecting people. I don't know what question you're going to ask me next, but I did have a thought that popped in my head.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you for coming on, Linda. It's been phenomenal for you to share such your genius, really, and some of the ways that I never even thought about creating this experience for our event as well. For those of you who are watching and listening, just make sure you grab these resources below. And whether you have an event scheduled or you're planning an event, make sure to schedule the call with Linda. And Linda, the floor is yours. Wrap it up. And
okay, great. I just want to leave everybody with this, and the thought that popped in my head was, what about speakers that speak? So speakers that have been, if you are a speaker who has basically only been on stages, or that paid to speak, or even pay to play to speak, if you fall into that category where you're a speaker, because there's a lot of speakers that their stages got canceled, and that's all they do. They just speak to speak. They're motivational speakers. They're teachers, trainers, coaches. They're e-learner teachers, e-learner speakers. So if you're just a speaker, this is the time to create that product, create that program, expand your training and teaching on the topic that you so eloquently speak on and that we want you on our stages for.
Yes.
Take the time to do that so that you can stay relevant, you can have something that you can offer to people, and as you go on virtual stages, because you can still get on, everybody's going to be doing more summits and virtual stages, expand your reach so that you can stay relevant.
Awesome. Thank you. Guys, tune into the next episode of Business Incubator to find out all about communicating to your audience during the time of crisis. Stay safe.